Latonya Pottain, a name etched into the hearts of those who followed her emotional and physically grueling journey on the reality TV show My 600lb Life, has tragically passed away at the age of 40. Her story, filled with visible pain, unyielding obstacles, raw vulnerability, and a battle that millions of viewers watched unfold in real time, came to an untimely end on a quiet Saturday night in Shreveport, Louisiana. Her death has sent ripples through both her family and the reality television community, serving as yet another sobering reminder of the real-life toll obesity can have, especially when compounded with underlying health issues and the emotional trauma so often hidden behind smiles and television cuts. According to information obtained from the Natchitoches Parish Coroner's Office and later confirmed by TMZ, Latonya Pottain passed away from congestive heart failure at Christus Highland Medical Center. While the preliminary autopsy has pointed to heart failure as the official cause, the final medical report is still pending, though the tragic outcome is already devastatingly clear. Latonya's passing, while medically deemed natural, was anything but gentle for those closest to her. The hours leading up to her death were filled with distress, confusion, and growing concern among her family members. That Saturday morning, members of her family visited her at her home. They were immediately struck by how unwell she looked. The spark that used to flicker behind her eyes seemed dimmed. Her breathing, labored and uneven, caused immediate alarm. She confided in her family that she was feeling extremely uncomfortable. Her body weighed down not just by pounds, but by pain, pressure, and perhaps even resignation. Her brother, who spoke candidly to TMZ, painted a picture of that day that is heartbreaking in its simplicity. Latonya was in distress, and those around her could feel it, sense it, and see it. They may not have known in that moment that it would be the last time they'd see her alive, but the atmosphere was heavy, and the worry was real. Later, the family received a phone call from a nurse. The voice on the other end of the line relayed what no loved one ever wants to hear, that Latonya had called an ambulance. She had gone into cardiac arrest. The weight on her chest, both literal and emotional, had finally become too much. By the time she reached the hospital, her condition had deteriorated beyond the point of return. Despite medical efforts, her heart gave out. And just like that, a life punctuated by struggle and marked by moments of both hope and defeat came to a close. To understand the impact of Latonya's life and death, one must first understand her journey. A journey that was laid bare before millions on national television. A journey that became symbolic of the kind of battles many people fight behind closed doors. Latonya first entered the public eye during Season 11 of TLC's My 600lb Life, a series that documents the lives of morbidly obese individuals seeking to regain control over their bodies and lives with the help of renowned bariatric surgeon Dr. Yunan Nauzaradan, affectionately known by fans as Dr. Now. From the moment she stepped onto the screen, it was clear that Latonya was more than just a number on a scale. She was a woman burdened by a lifetime of emotional wounds, trauma, and cycles of self-sabotage. Her relationship with food was not just about sustenance. It was about comfort, control, punishment, and survival. For Latonya, food was a friend and a foe. It was a bandage over old wounds that never truly healed. And like many who've appeared on the show, her obesity was the result of years of unresolved pain, often rooted in childhood experiences, broken relationships, abandonment, and isolation. Her journey with Dr. Now was never easy. From the beginning, Latonya struggled to comply with the program's strict diet and exercise regimen. Despite her intentions, she often fell short of the goals set before her. Each meeting with Dr. Now became more disheartening, as the scale showed weight gain, rather than loss. Her efforts, if any, weren't enough to counter the physical and psychological hold her weight had on her. And yet, in those moments, viewers saw not just failure, but a woman caught in the crosshairs of desperation and defeat. A woman who wanted so badly to change but couldn't outrun the years of damage done. Dr. Now, known for his tough love and direct approach, eventually had to make a difficult decision. In one of the more painful moments of the show, he informed Latonya that he could no longer continue with her treatment. She had not met the requirements needed to proceed with surgery. This moment wasn't just a setback for Latonya. It was a heartbreaking turning point. The glimmer of hope that had carried her onto the show was snuffed out, at least temporarily. It was the culmination of a long-standing battle between what she wanted for herself and what her circumstances allowed her to achieve. There was one time she lost a significant amount of weight, but it was not through lifestyle change. It was during a previous hospitalization for heart-related issues. That short-lived progress was not the result of empowerment or triumph, but rather of medical crisis, showing once again the precarious line she walked between life and death, progress, and regression. Latonya's journey, both on and off the screen, resonated with many, not just because of her size or her struggle, but because of her humanity. She was a symbol of something larger than herself. She represented the hidden pain behind obesity, the mental health challenges, the societal judgment, the broken systems, and the lack of accessible care that often defines the lives of those living with morbid obesity. Her pain was real, her tears were honest, and her story was tragically familiar to so many watching at home, perhaps sitting on their own couches, whispering to themselves, "That could be me." Her death at 40 feels all the more devastating, because it underscores what many feared, that her story might end before it ever truly began. She didn't get the redemption arc some cast members achieve. She didn't get the triumphant transformation photo, the skin surgery, or the social media posts celebrating 200-pound weight loss milestones. Instead, she got an early grave. And that's not just a loss for her family or for fans. It's a loss for everyone invested in the fight against obesity and the emotional struggles that often accompany it. In the aftermath of her passing, those who knew her best have come forward to share memories. They speak of a woman who, despite her own suffering, still tried to find joy in life. A woman who laughed, loved, cried, and cared deeply for those around her. Her story was not just one of struggle, but of survival, even if that survival was day by day, moment to moment. She was not defined solely by her weight, even though her weight often overshadowed everything else. What her death reveals is a truth that needs to be spoken louder. That people like Latonya often slip through the cracks of our healthcare system, our social safety nets, and even our cultural empathy. We are so quick to judge those we see on television, so quick to form opinions about laziness or willpower without understanding the layers of trauma, mental illness, and socioeconomic hardship involved. Latonya's story was not just about one woman failing to lose weight, it was about a system failing to catch her when she fell, repeatedly. As the final autopsy results are awaited, the cause of death, congestive heart failure, will likely be just a medical footnote. But the real cause may go deeper. Years of neglect, lack of access to proper treatment, mental health support, nutritional education, and perhaps even consistent familial support likely played a role. And while television showed the highs and lows, the real story played out long. After the cameras stopped rolling, Latonya Pottain didn't get the ending many hoped for, but her story still matters. It still deserves to be told, remembered, and learned from. Because behind the statistics are real people. Behind the before and after photos are lives lived in pain and hope. And behind each episode of reality television is a real human being who wakes up every day carrying a weight most of us can't begin to comprehend. She is gone now, but not forgotten. Her story, though tragic, continues to speak to the importance of compassion, support, and systemic change. We owe it to her, and to so many others like her, to do better, to be better, to see more than the scale, more than the food, more than the surface, to see the person inside, the one crying out for help, for understanding, for another chance.